Thanks, Alan. Thanks, everybody. We're here today at Michael Healy's office because 2 years ago, Michael Healy made a promise to our community. He made a promise to our residents. We had 11 of us here in that boardroom table just inside there. And Michael Healy, of course, promoted his policies. He promoted the government. And he also then, at a time when we had appealed to him time and time again that he would do something about crime in Cairns. And the one thing our residents wanted to deal with at that point in time was parent accountability. The number one question on people's lips at that time was, where are the parents? Why are these kids out on the street at midnight and doing all these sorts of things? So that was the number one issue. So we took that to Michael and he sort of thought, oh, well, we don't really need to do that, but now that you mentioned it, I'll actually do that. I'll represent you in Brisbane. I'll represent you down there. Just bear with me a second, Margaret, because we're going to get around to you shortly. I just want to tell this story particularly because this is about talking into power, talking into the politicians that are responsible for the safety and the environment and the things that we have to contribute to here in Cairns. So what Michael said was that he would actually make a commitment to represent us to the Attorney General, to the Police Minister, in the government for that parent accountability issue, for that policy. And he swore that to us, and at the end of the table I was sitting there and I said, that's fantastic, Michael, would you be inclined to come outside and make a public statement, a joint public statement in front of the media? Because Michael didn't know that the media were here waiting for him. So we put Michael in a position, you see, where he had to be accountable. The fundamental thing about this government and the fundamental thing about the system that we have in our country at the moment is that politicians will avoid accountability at any cost. And we know what that any cost is now. It's the death of children in our streets. This is unacceptable. It has to change immediately, and that's what we're here for today. Now, my personal experience, and I have to reflect on this because I understand what it means to be traumatised. I know what it means to have severe injuries and to possibly die because you've lost so much blood. You may have noticed that I'm actually an amputee. I've lost a leg. I know what it's like to be down and out to the point that I'm nearly dead. But I was able to recover. And I was able to not only recover but go on and prosper and build a career and do something with my life that made a difference to other people. And that's what I'm bringing to you here today and bringing to the people of Cairns is my offer to you of my service to lead this cause and to get to the bottom of the stinking, rotten, unaccountable government that we've got that are prepared to sacrifice the lives of our children. In that experience, in my recovery, the most important things that I learned out of that is that I needed to have personal dignity in myself. I needed to understand very clearly that I had to create a new identity. I had to create a new way of living in my life so that I could go on and do something that I had pride for, that my family were proud of, that the people who loved me were proud of me. So I made a conscious decision after the suffering that you could only imagine that I went through. You know, wanting to take my life and all that sort of stuff. Mental health was just to the bottom. But what happened was that I found the number one key, the number one thing that gave me the opportunity was to take personal responsibility and to have dignity in myself. Those two things are the secrets and the keys for our society to be able to rebuild and to move ahead and prosper into the future so that we can get rid of this stinking scourge of crime in our community. So I'm offering you here today that empathy, the empathy for the kids, the empathy for that young boy that died the other day, needlessly. That was a preventable death. The death of the 4 kids down there in Townsville at Garbutt. Jennifer Ward down in Townsville that got killed. The unborn baby in Brisbane that was killed with the mother and father down there from a 17-year-old kid in a stolen car. This is the death toll. This is the death toll that this government has got over their head. And we need to dig deep and come together as a community in order to get out of this stinking, rotten, toxic system of the youth justice strategy that the Palaszczuk government are trying to put in place. Thank you.
Thanks for those strong words, Aaron.